Cheating during examinations, particularly in grade 10s and 12s, have been a concern for some time. And despite many efforts to prevent it, the culprits continue to come up with ingenious evil ways. But the Education Department is determined to put an end to it. Sheila Malkin reports.
Examination is a process that measures the quality of learning outcomes of students. However, the integrity of this process has now been questioned. A review undertaken by the Department of Education has found that certain individuals have tampered with the examination process. Malpractices such as cheating are common, thus undermining the credibility of the examination system in place in schools throughout the country.
As with many systems, when we continue to implement the systems and the processes, sometimes there is complacency. We take things for granted that systems are functioning to the best so that they can be able to deliver the kinds of outcomes that we anticipate. But in most cases, we do not understand the issues that affect the systems. In this case, the examination system has been implemented for a very long time, for many years.
Despite this setback, the Education Department continued to implement the examination system. Head of the Examination Review Committee, Dr. Arnold Kukari, explained why the system has to be maintained.
We have followed thoroughly the examination process, from beginning with the national level all the way down to the micro grassroots school level, in order to try and understand the process and also identify possible gaps so that we can recommend for interventions for the department to implement in order to be able to improve the examination system and restore public confidence in the examinations and the certification processes.
But in most cases, the department didn't understand issues that is affecting the system. Education Minister Nick Kuman initiated the investigation to review examination malpractice and to restore its integrity.
I'm thankful that we know there's problems in every process of government, and we are fully aware of that. But we want to know exactly where those problems are. Now that we got almost 62 recommendations contained in the report, that gives the department a way forward in addressing the problem that came to light in 2010. And I think we are mindful of putting a complete overhaul of the system to ensure that there must be a total integrity of our examination process from Waigani right to the students. So I'm thankful that I know there are weaknesses, and we all know there are weaknesses as to why those exam papers have leaked. And I want to say thank you to those people who raise the bail and becomes and reflect the problems in the provinces. And we know now that we need to make certain steps to correct all those problems that we have in our system.
The finding of the review was presented to the Education Minister recently. Some key issues were identified and 2 recommendations were made for the department to implement. The Deputy Chairman pointed out various loopholes within the system.
There is a breakdown in the management process, where we have lack of policies, operational manuals to guide both practice and for monitoring various aspects of examinations on the ground. The management style was not conducive to providing a, I feel like, malpractice-free kind of examination environment. So there were a number of issues that made it possible for examinations to be leaked at the national level. There were also issues with the government printing office in the way it handled the examinations, and we did identify some gaps, particularly in terms of lapses in the security of examinations, the involvement of external entities or individuals to handle part of the process, which created doubts in terms of security, as well as confidence in the ability of individuals to handle the process. The provincial system was, if you like, uncoordinated. There was systemic problems with lack of coordination, oversight, and monitoring, again due to a policy vacuum.
The investigation committee visited 9 provinces and about 20 schools to ascertain the nature of examination malpractice and to look at how the examination processes being implemented at various levels. Data was collected through the semi-structured interview with individuals, beginning with the division within the department that takes charge of the examinations, which is the Measurement Service Division.
Thorough examination of the processes there, including the governance systems and management and staffing. Then we moved on and investigated the government printing office and the role that it is playing, especially in terms of delivering the camera-ready copies of the examination papers to the printer in Australia and all the other aspects. And then we moved down to the provincial level and then to the school level. So we did, kind of a comprehensive but not really exhaustive analysis of the processes. But the data we have collected has given us a lot of insight into the examination process.
To prevent this, the Education Department has trialed a new concept to strengthen the examination process.
I'd like to also report that we have already begun the process of reforming the system. We invited the media to come up to Dixie's bungalows, but no one turned up, to have a look at the new system that is being put in place, which is it's basically a paradigm shift. The department will be moving from using a manual system of processing the exams, where you have examination item writers, they come, they sit down for a number of days, they write the items, and the process is a very long one, to now having all the items written into a computer. They will be saved, password guarded, items will be saved onto a server, then CRC copies will be made, MSD senior staff will deliver the CD themselves down to Australia. And all the printing and all the proofreading will be down there, and they will supervise the packaging of the examinations. And they will be transported here, and they will be dispatched to the provinces.
Consigned directly from
Right.
factory.
So at the moment we have so many processes that we think are contributing towards the problem. Like there is unpacking and repacking of examination paper at least 3 times. They unpacked here in Mosby, they unpacked in the provinces, and then unpacked again at the schools. So, it's a process that is uncertain in terms of security. So we have basically, the department is now improving the process.
Sheila Malkin. Also on education, what really happens to grade 12s this year vying for places at the University of Papua New Guinea? That is, of course, against that backdrop of the termination of the academic year at the Waigani campus. Mark Kayok reports.
Concerns have been raised on whether grade 12 students attending the University of Papua New Guinea next year will be guaranteed space. This follows the suspension of the 2016 academic year by the University Council last week. First-year students have also queried the UPNG Council on the plight of their education next year. This has prompted Education Minister Nick Kuman to call on the University Council to rescind its decision. Minister Kuman is disappointed with the Council's decision, adding that it will have serious repercussions on students. He is concerned about thousands of grade 12 students coming out from schools this year.
Particularly with the first years who are in those universities. We will be sending out more than 200,000 students who will sit for exams in 2016. And therefore, I am mindful that our school leavers that comes out from the school system will be applying for first-year students in those universities as well.
As the Minister responsible for education, Mr. Kuman is mindful of the impacts it will have, especially for grade 12 school leavers this year. Kuman said students have compromised their education for too long and must not continue. He said this government has transformed the nation, and under the leadership of the Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, rural people were treated fairly. He went on that students should appreciate work done by this government and concentrate on their studies.
But when you do that, make sure that you do it properly. Because this government, over the last 4 years, you've seen physical transformation of Papua New Guinea. It means that this government really worked so hard because you must believe in your government, you must believe in your leaders, you believe in Papua New Guinea.
Acknowledging the University of Goroka and Unitec in Lae for resuming classes, the minister questioned why UPNG was so stubborn. He made an undertaking to take the matter up with Cabinet.
As a Minister for Education, I will fight tooth and nail at the Cabinet level to ensure that those institutions must allow students to continue. If it means that you have to go right to December, January next year, you must go. The government will ensure that whatever needs to be paid to our contract officers who are expatriates that need to comply with their contractual obligations, we'll make sure that we'll pay those bills. And we provide that opportunity for students who want to go to school must go to school.
The University Council said first-year students will not be affected. That means they will continue their studies next year with the new intakes. Students at the university are calling on the government to relook at its decision. Especially first-year students have expressed concern that they have worked so hard, and for the council to terminate the academic year is unfair. Many said they were surprised with the decision.
So they need to consider those students and please give us chance to complete our education.
Others claim the decision was a relief after being kept in suspense for too long.
It's a relief so that we can go home and just leave this year past and we all come back in one piece next year. But once again, thanks very much for the council. We have been kept in suspense for too long, and I think that this decision will at least give us some wake-up call to consider the next course of action individually.
However, Higher Education Minister Malakai Tabar said, despite calls by government to save the academic year, it is impossible at this stage. Mr. Tabar said the decision was made by the Academic Senate, a body that determines the academic programs. This may mean that all students are to reapply for next year. The ultimatum for students to vacate campus was extended to mid this week. Meantime, the Lahara courses will be organized, allowing final year students to continue their studies. Master programs will continue at the campus for non-resident students.